So greetings and welcome to another segment of Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman. My name is Peter Updike, and today we're going to be bike riding in the Lake Tracy unit of the Seminole State Forest. Here's the entry right here. We're on the entrance at Highway 42. It's the only wildlife management area that I know of that's south of Highway 42, adjacent to the Ocala National Forest. We would be on the eastern end of Highway 42 near the Ocala National Forest. Yeah, they call this the Lake Tracy unit. It's a wildlife management area of the Seminole State Forest. And I got my bicycle here, and this is the parking area. For some reason the gate's locked, so yeah, I'm a resident and a taxpayer, so gates locked don't matter to me. I might have broke the rules, but I threw my bicycle over the fence and I climbed over it, and I've got my truck parked there on the side there at the gate. So yeah, I could probably get in trouble. I don't know. It seems to me like this is a wildlife management area. I should be able to come and go as I please. So here I am, and this is what we're doing. I have personal history here. I have a other sense of motivation for being here today. I want to go back in time to my past, to my youth, early 20s. I worked for a guy that managed and owned a large caretaking, citrus, grove service, and packing house. And adjacent to that, he also was interested in the cattle business, and he had leased this property for the cattle rights. And I was privileged to be able to come and go here as I please in this very management area. This was that property called the Sleepy Hollow Ranch, where we deer hunted and kept cows. And yeah, it was a social area for us. It was a big area. We hunted it maybe 4 or 5 seasons in a row. We ran dogs on it, and I had some experiences here that I'm going to share with you. I'm hoping to get to those locations, and when we get there, yeah, I'll share with you. Now, real quick, I want to also tell you that if you want to hunt this, it's open for hunting. If you want to hunt this, you'll have to apply for a quota permit. They have quota permits are available now on the FWC website. This is the Lake Tracy unit if you're interested in hunting this. If you live near here, I'd recommend hunting it. And yeah, archery, muzzleloader, and modern gun are all opportunities that you can have here at the Lake Tracy unit of the Seminole State Forest. All right, so let's get on our bike and let's ride. I'm familiar with this particular road, even though we're coming in from another way. So let's do it. So here we are at the first stop, first point of interest for me personally. This is like the very first spot I ever killed a deer in front of dogs. Got something on my lens there. In front of dogs, and it's a real moment for me, and I wanted to share it with you. This was known as the Culvert Road. This road goes through the swamp, and there's a steel culvert, keeps the road from flooding. So we called it the Culvert Road. All of that is still in place. I see further back towards the road, they're putting in limestone road and whatnot. But this is the first place that I come to that I recognize. And then the pasture back over here, I got a story about that. It's going to blow you away. But anyhow, I was standing right here in this very spot. I suppose the year was probably 1982, 83, something like that. I really don't know. Yeah, those years kind of clumped together and I can't keep track. It might have been 85, it might have been 86. I just don't know. I'd have been 25, 26 years old, earlier on 23. Those years in my life. And yeah, I was poor as a church mouse and working every check and yeah, and hunting here. And had no idea what I had. I had a real asset here personally and didn't know it. I could have hunted this all I wanted to. I could have been in here doing anything I wanted to. It was only like, from Eustis where I was raised, it's only like 45 minutes, right? And I could drive my pickup truck here. Had a key to the gate and there was a camp up there with a trailer on it. We had dog pens and cow pens and we worked cattle out here and did a lot of amazing things. Mostly though in the fall and winter we deer hunted out here. Anyway, I got dropped off here one year. I had left my truck, or I had a Jeep then. I left my Jeep up at the barn and they drove me down here and put me out right here. And I sat here and stood here for, I don't know, 2 hours to the point where I was just about tired of it. About that time, a dog started howling and trailing back up over on this side. And he'd howl and trail and howl and trail, and he sounded like he was getting closer and closer, but it was really hard to tell. But anyway, I was standing here when I heard this kaplash, kaplash, kaplash. I said, holy smoke, something's coming. I couldn't see it. It was over here on this side of the road, and I could still hear that dog howling. But a deer, there was water all up and down this culvert road on both sides. This was kind of like a dike. This is a heavy duty swamp back in over here. But a deer, I don't know, 100, all the way down yonder, a deer jumped into the road and started coming right at me. And I know you've seen that Marlin 3030, that little carbine Marlin 3030 that I had, and I still have it. That deer started getting closer and closer, and I threw up my rifle and I could see it had antlers. Now it didn't have big antlers. It had, you know, 6, 8-inch spikes. I still got those antlers at home. And the deer's run right to me, and of course then spikes were legal. So this is going to be like my 3rd deer, and it's the first deer I ever killed in front of dogs. I shot at the deer and missed it. Again, he was running right towards me and getting closer and closer. I said, well, sooner or later he's going to turn broadside. But if he turned broadside, that meant he was going to go back into the swamp, so I'd only have a second or two to make a shot. So I jacked another round in, and the deer was bounding. You know how they do, they bound. He wasn't running, he was just bounding like this. He was jumping up. Now, real hard to get a sight on it, and I was looking through my scope, and he appeared in my scope, and I let one rip. And as he was coming down, bullet hit him in the spine, just below the neck, where the neck enters the spine, and dropped him right dead in the center of this road. And man, what a great day. It is very, very rewarding to come back here today with you guys, to share that memory with you. And yeah, it's a chapter in my deer hunting career. The first deer I ever killed in front of dogs. I killed a few others in front of dogs here and there up in Ocala and whatnot, and I've seen a lot of deer being run by dogs. But this one really holds a great memory, and I'm thrilled to have been here. I'm thrilled to have experienced that. Now I've got another thing. Again, we're in the Lake Tracy unit of the Seminole State Forest. There's another portion of this unit that comes off of 44A. That's the same name. I failed to mention that. And it's off of 44A. Behind an area, a little store there was used to be called Roach's Grocery. Roach's Grocery was a little store there for the people that lived in the area. But behind that is the other portion of this place called the Lake Tracy unit of the Seminole State Forest. All right, so we are going to make our way around, and I got another point of interest to show you. I almost was afraid this spot was gone, because I kept riding and kept riding and kept riding and didn't come up on it. I've seen a lot of deer tracks. I've seen some bear tracks. I didn't see any hog and I didn't see any turkey, but I've seen some good size deer. We killed a lot of good bucks in here. And when I say good bucks, 8 points, 9 points, I never got one like that. I saw one, I never did get a shot at it. But yeah, that deer was being run by dogs too. We still hunted it the first couple of years until finally the guy that had the lease decided he was getting impatient. He decided to put the hounds. He killed a real nice 8-pointer. No, 9-pointer. He killed a 9-pointer, and a couple of the other guys killed some great deer. Great memories and great fellowship. Yeah, it's a great memory. So let's go around the corner here. I got something I'm gonna share with you. You ain't gonna believe. All right, let's get her done. So here we are at the next to the last portion of our journey. We're on what was called the Bridge Road. We called this the Bridge Road. It went all the way down yonder, following this power line, and then to that last pole right there is where we called the power line started. Man, it is hot today. Now, you never ever want to come out to a place like this by yourself and not bring some water. Make sure you bring lots of water. You got to hydrate when you're out here because it is hot today. But anyway, this is the Bridge Road. And as I said earlier, that this was a working cattle ranch, and I was employed by the man that had it. And we had probably 75 to 100 plus calves and bulls, registered Angus, registered black Angus. And yeah, I became real familiar with the cattle industry working here. And one of the things we did was we maintained 3 very large pastures, one which is right over here, down that way. And when maintaining, we would have big trucks come out with liquid fertilizer. And they'd fertilize the pastures so that during the summer, they'd grow good and the cows would have something to eat. It would be less work as far as feeding them goes, and they could graze. Anyway, I was instructed by my boss to come up to the ranch, which I was thrilled to do. And you're going to meet a guy with a semi-truck with a big tank on the back. He's going to be up at the gate. And I want you to take him to the back pasture. He's going to fertilize that back pasture. And it was already 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon when I got this request, this order. So I hopped in my pickup truck and I drove up here, and sure enough, the guy was waiting at the gate. And I was told, now you better take that guy around the long way. He really shouldn't go across the Bridge Road. You shouldn't go across the bridge. And I'm going to show that to you right now. I'm going to show you what's left of it. What they did was they filled it all in. They put in a culvert. But back then it was a high bridge made out of railroad ties, okay? And I'm sure you've seen them before. It was a railroad tie bridge, and it was a lot higher than what you're seeing here. I have to believe that what I'm seeing here is the remnants of that bridge, but they've just sunk down into the ground here. And this is the Lake Tracy Canal. This goes all the way back up to Lake Tracy, which is really not a lake at all. It's just a big wet spot in the middle of the swamp, okay? And that's why they call this the Lake Tracy unit, because this comes through here. A lot of people think this might be part of the Blackwater Creek, but it's not. Blackwater Creek is that away, okay? And that away is the other portion of the Lake Tracy unit, which is separate from this one. And straight back this way was a place called Royal Trails and Blackwater Hunt Club. I don't know if they're still hunting or not. Probably are. Anyway, I was told to meet this guy from Diamond R Fertilizer. And let me get out here in the sun so you can see me a little better. I'll try and get this camera. Anyway, I was supposed to meet the guy at the gate. I met him and he was there. And he had a big, we're going to call it an overcab, if you know what an overcab is. An overcab truck. It was like a Peterbilt or a Kenworth or a White Freightliner, something like that. And on the back was this great big huge tank full of water. Well, it wasn't full of water yet. We had to mix the chemicals. He wasn't allowed to haul the chemicals on the road. We mixed the chemicals in the tank and then filled it all the way up at a pump station we had up by the barn. And then I told the guy, I said, now you're gonna follow me. We're gonna go around this way, and we're gonna go all the way around the long way, because we can't go over the bridge. The bridge won't handle the weight. And he agreed, and we went all the way around and intersected down here. I can see it, and then straight down to the pasture. So he became aware that this was a shortcut, okay? And I showed him where to spray the fertilizer. I stayed with him. It took him about 45 minutes to put out that whole tank. And all he did was drive a pattern with these big booms hanging off the back of the truck, spraying the pasture. And when he got done, I told him we're gonna go back around, and he got in front of me. And I don't know how the conversation went. I don't know how it happened, but I asked him, please don't go over the bridge. And he decided he was gonna do it anyway. And I have to believe that he thought that if he got a running start, he could get over this bridge, because right down there's the gate, right? You don't have to go all the way around. It was getting dark, and there was something about this place that makes people scared when it gets dark. So anyway, he started coming down this bridge road. Come off the power line road, right down here, and he was shifting gears, baby. He was coming. I said, oh no, where's he going? And I shining my lights at him, trying to make him stop, and he just kept on coming. And I guess he thought that if he got a running start, he could get over this bridge. And he got to right about here. He got to right about here when things went terribly wrong. He lost control of the truck, and it veered to the left, strong veer to the left, and fell right in there. And the cab of the truck just came up off the frame and exposed the engine. So he's in the cab. It's an overcab, right? It's the kind of truck that's got the cab over the engine, and the whole thing comes up. And the overcab came completely up off the frame, and the engine got stuck in full throttle. And I was back there about 100 yards. I couldn't believe my eyes. And I couldn't believe he tried to go over that bridge. I couldn't believe he hit it so hard. I couldn't believe he was down in this ditch. And the truck and the engine was going, wah! Holy smokes. So I drove up here as fast as I could. By the time I got up here, he was climbing out the window of that truck. And he fell down in these bushes in here, in the water, and climbed back up, and he came out over here somewhere. And I was sitting over here. I said, man, are you all right? Are you all right? He said, yeah, I'm all right. Oh my God, why'd that bridge do that? And I looked at the bridge, and the bridge was fine. He just lost control of the truck going too fast and went right. I mean, this isn't the sort of thing you want to go over at 30 miles an hour with an overcab truck, right? And he ended up down in that ditch, down in the canal. What a mess. I got him up and got him out of there and made sure that he was all right. And radioed my boss. I said, you're not going to believe what happened. He said, he tried to go over the bridge, didn't he? I said, yes, sir, he sure did. Why'd you let him do that? I said, I just didn't let him do it. He did it on his own. The guy got in front of me. Oh, man, it was terrible. Anyway, 3 wreckers later, they're out here till midnight. I went home around 11 o'clock. I said, man, I can't stay out here waiting on the wreckers to come out, because somebody had to lead them out here. So I got the wreckers. They tried pulling him straight this way at first, right through here. But the truck was sideways. You couldn't get the truck to turn to pull him up through here. So I had to go all the way around and pull him out the way he went in. That's the only way to get him out. And again, we're talking about, I don't know what a truck like that weighs, thousands, tens of thousands of pounds. The only thing is, the tank wasn't loaded with material. I think that was part of his thought. You know, oh, we couldn't go over it with material in it, but now that I'm empty, I probably can. And no, you can't. You can't go over that bridge. So anyway, that's my experience here at the Lake Tracy Unit Wildlife Management Area, the portion of the Lake Tracy, of the Seminole State Forest Lake Tracy Unit. It's my experience here. It was great being here. It was great coming here today. A lot of deer tracks. I saw some turkey tracks. I saw some bear tracks. Put that in your memory account. If you ever want to hunt the Lake Tracy Wildlife Management Area, remember, I think they only let 50 hunters in here and on the other portion combined. So it would probably take it 3 or 4 years to get drawn. But I don't know how well known this management area is. This management area is a good management area. I saw a lot of deer tracks. But again, you're gonna have to have 3 or 4 years worth of points to get it. I'm dancing around the notion that maybe I want to apply for it. Maybe, but it'll be next year because I've already put my quota permit in for this year. All right, I can always turn them back in, right? Turn them back in, I can try for this next year and come here, spend a couple of days and go hunt. All right, we love you guys. This is the Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman YouTube channel. My name is Peter Updike. Love you guys, see ya, bye.